right, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1949 Chrysler Windsor. Up front is a 4.1 liter straight six, and down below is a 3-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Chrysler Windsor for two reasons. First of all, I always love driving vehicles from the 1940s, and this is a pretty iconic one and a pretty special one. But the second reason is the fact that this is a little bit different on the inside, and so today, we're gonna be diving into it and all of the glory that comes with the Chrysler Windsor. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 4.1 liter straight six under the hood. This is an incredibly reliable engine. Chrysler started using this engine in the late 1920s and used it all the way up until the late 1950s, where they actually even produced it past that for use in tractors and things like that. While it might not be the most powerful engine offered at the time, the New Yorker actually came with an 8-cylinder. It makes up for it because it is incredibly reliable and can handle a lot of punishment. The owner daily drove this vehicle for 4 years here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it gets well above 120 degrees. He said it never overheats. It'll sit in 120-degree weather all day long and be happy about it. So that is pretty cool to see. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 3-speed manual, and it's shifted in a very interesting way. So it's shifted on the column. However, only first and second gear are. Third gear is actually its own little switch. Okay, so this is how you shift it. So you do have a clutch pedal, so I'll press that in. Away and forward, as you just heard, is first gear. Away and down is second gear. But now, to enter third gear, there's a switch right here that you put down, and now it's in third gear. Bring this back up. Now it's in second gear. Now it's in first. Reverse, you gotta slam and pull it towards you, and up, and that is reverse. Very, very weird style of transmission, but that's how Chrysler did it in 1949. So again, first, second, third, second, first. Very cool. And last but not least, of course, the Chrysler Windsor is rear-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Chrysler Windsor? Well, it drives like a lot of cars of the era, where it is just very boaty, very floaty, not very determined. It just kind of gets there when it gets there. Steering is incredibly vague. And you know, it really reflects the music and the culture of the time of just kind of like la-di-da, this sort of post-war America that was kind of high on their own supply and getting by for one heck of a time. Visibility is fine, although it is a split window. This is still of the era where we didn't really know how to do curved windows yet. But other than that, it's fine, and just getting used to that transmission is probably the hardest part of the whole gig. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior, because we have quite some interesting modifications in here. Well, in front of me, we have the original gauge cluster. So we have amperage, fuel, oil pressure, and temperature, as well as speedometer. I love the Art Deco look, and again, this feels very early 40s because post-war companies hadn't really put much R&D into the new stuff yet. The steering wheel does say Chrysler. Love that Chrysler badge right there in the center. And off to the left, we have a couple of different wiper switches and unlabeled switches and venting. And on the door, we have the crank for the window, and that's pretty much it. Moving into the center, we do get our radio. This does have a radio. Very cool to see that. As well as the owner has added a CB radio and other things. Off to the right, we do have a clock in here, as well as a glove box that says Chrysler, and we do have a vent down below that you can pull open. Now, we don't have any cup holders, so right off the bat, of course, it fails the big friggin' bottle test, but we all knew it would. But then let's talk about the mods. So as you can see, I do not have the original driver's seat. I am essentially sitting on a church pew, and the entire interior has been outfitted with wood. So the owner actually uses this for camping, and so he's put a bed in here, a bookshelf, little things like that. So let's hop out and talk about the back in handheld style. All right, here we go, getting in the back of the 1949 Windsor. So obviously some modifications. That's my equipment backpack, but he has this large bed in here. I love all of this wood paneling, the details in here. Now, this is the modern part, of course. He does have a panel for running all the accessories and TVs and radios. It does have a modern outlet, shelving, and of course, you gotta love just all the books. I mean, it really does remind me of a cabin, which is great. We have this nice carpeting down here, but stepping in here, one of my favorite features is this. He has a modern TV that actually flips down, but he holds it and hides it in this old-fashioned looking box. So very, very cool for that. Very hard to do one-handed. Come on. There we go. And there we go. Absolutely love this. You get a great view from back here. So, so lovely. I mean, look at the craftsmanship of this. I love this look and this feel. I mean, it's just so homey. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we can get out as well and talk about the trunk. Pull it up like this, and obviously we have our old car essentials back here because you absolutely need that when driving a classic. Love to see all of it, but there you go. It's just a simple handle. There you go. You got to twist it down, and now it is closed. That is absolutely awesome, and that's the back of this specific 1949 Chrysler Windsor. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and of course I love this look of the 1940s Chrysler. I think these were very regal, very dignified, very happy vehicles. And I love the blue paint. I love that it is patinaed and it hasn't been fixed. And so the New Yorker, while it did have a bigger engine, it actually shared a lot of parts exterior-wise. It had a longer nose, but it actually utilized the same back of the vehicle. And so if you're looking at this and you say, hey, it kind of looks like a New Yorker, that's because, well, it pretty much kind of sort of somewhat is. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but I love seeing that on the exterior of the Chrysler Windsor. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Chrysler Windsor? Well, of course, this has been an incredibly unique and a really, really fun experience. There's a couple of things that really stick out about this car. First of all is the metalwork. If you knock on a fender of this car, it doesn't sound like metal. It feels like concrete. This car is so structurally sound, and the owner said, be as mean to it as you want. You're not gonna be able to break it, and to his word, I have not been able to break it. And this also just goes to show how the 40s were kind of a stuck period in terms of cars. Because of World War II, we entered in 41, we left victorious in 45. A lot of the stuff from 1939, 40, and 41 were utilized in 46, 47, and 48 because all of the effort towards technology had been utilized for the war. Chrysler was building tanks and guns and things like that. So this really feels like an early 40s car, although it came well after, but this also predates the 50s. The 50s made everything sexy with big tail fins and big cars. This is big, I'm not saying it isn't, but there's just less curb appeal, and I sort of like that. This is a more girl next door type vehicle. And then we have the modifications. The wood paneling on the inside, I don't think could be any more perfect. Not only does it feel very 1940s, where wood paneling was a very real thing and real wood paneling was the deal, but there's just something so nostalgic about this car. The sun visor over the windshield, the wood in here, the books in the back. This feels like a cabin. This feels like you're going on vacation. That stuffy, stuffy lake house that your friend might have that they only open a few times of the year. And yeah, it smells mildewy. Yeah, it doesn't have AC. You sweat the whole time you're in it like I am here today, but there's something familiar about it and there's something comfortable about it. This car is so welcoming. It's so happy. It's so joyous. It's so friendly. And that's not just the wood paneling, but the car as a whole. Yes, it's a little daunting to drive with that odd 3-speed, but once you get get to drive it like that, it feels like a handshake with your best friend. You two both know the code, and you alone know how it works. That's a very special feeling, and that's how I feel driving this car. Huge thank you to Court for letting me borrow his 1949 Chrysler Windsor. Huge thank you to him as well for rescuing me when I couldn't figure out how to get it in reverse in a Dairy Queen parking lot. He came by and helped me get it into reverse. I was just a stupid boy. He's been absolutely wonderful to work with. I was so fortunate we were able to set this up during my time here in Phoenix, and I'm very, very appreciative. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.